Now, back to Did She Say That with Sonnie Johnson.
Welcome back to Did She Say That, a Breitbart podcast on Podcast One. Y'all know what time it is. I may be Sonnie, but I'm nothing in this segment without JaVonni. What's up, JaVonni?
What's up, Sonnie?
I love it that you come on so cheerful. You be having me peppy and shit.
I try.
Aw, you being modest. Don't come on don't come on the podcast with that modesty shit.
Just doing my job.
I'm the modest one on this one.
Oh, that's right. I'm the troublemaker. Yes, carry on.
Yes, you are. You know you are. Own it. What we got this week? Let's see where we going.
All right. So, Sonnie, I live and work in D.C., and for those who are around this on a regular basis, the corruption usually goes in one ear and out the other. As long as no one's caught on camera smoking out of a crack pipe, the rest really isn't that bad. Doesn't really matter. But this week, a number caught me off guard. Like, this one actually seriously bothered me. And it disturbed me that no one else noticed. A fine arts school in D.C., Duke Ellington, was scheduled to be renovated for about $78 million. The reports came in and they were like, oops, it's actually $178 million. Now, I don't have anything against shaving off the top because, come on, like, it happens. But $100 million?
It doesn't happen. Donald Trump comes in under budget before time, before the deadline. It doesn't happen. It happens with government. So, and not even just that, the building on Pennsylvania Avenue, he brought it in under budget and ahead of time. And he was like, and the only way we even got close to the budget was because I did an upgrade with marble and this, that, and the other. He was like, that was the extra stuff that I did with the extra money.
And he's done an amazing job on that, might I add, while city council is here fighting about it. Like, they're all saying, they're pointing a finger at who brought the Republican to D.C. And they're like, this building is your fault.
That's my only comment on this segment. I know how you feel about this subject, so I'm going to step back and let you take it. You tell them how you feel about it.
Just the fact that you can do an overrun of $100 million and it not bother anyone, like, it's crazy. Someone who's running for office here, he took a letter that one of the students put for how they needed a new roof. And, the roof caved in and it just wasn't fair. And said absolutely nothing about this huge overrun. And the students were saying about what they were entitled to, the type of building that they wanted. They suggested, why don't we move this to another part of town if we could save, I don't know, $50 million. And the kids are on Twitter saying that, hey, they want to know why we won't move to a cheaper neighborhood. Ha ha. I'm not going to argue with anyone whose mother still washes their drawers, but I mean, yeah, that entitlement mindset does start pretty early.
That should be one of the conservative rules. You know how I talk about like the platform, like as a conservative, you should talk to nobody. If their mother still washes their drawers, then their opinion should not matter in conservative conversation.
I 100% am on that.
That should be one of the top rules. But you go off on Twitter, and one of the things and Facebook, but one of the things that you said, if you went to rent an apartment and they said that the rent was somewhere between $1,200 and $12,000 a month, and you'll kind of find out from month to month what the price is.
I mean, they would think you were absolutely insane. I'm just saying, I mean, there generally is a little bit of shaving off, the top, but $100 million, that's crazy. And I think for the same size of building, I saw Portsmouth, Virginia, they did one about 150,000 square feet for $40 million. Yet this is 3 times that amount. They did another school in D.C., Anacostia High School. It took 5 construction companies to install bathroom dividers, like the dividers between the men's stalls.
Do you know what my biggest problem with this is? And you know me, I'm the cultural type, so I like the cultural arts. I would have wanted, if you said, I'm going to build the state-of-the-art math, science, technology center in the middle of D.C. for urban kids to go, and we're going to stock it so full of economic innovation that we will change a decade You know what I'm saying? We will change a generation just by the amount of technology and access to that technology that would be in this building. Like, I would buy into that, even with cost overruns, as long as that is the purpose and the outcome. But this is for a performing arts school. To dance, and I'm not against the arts. I am a lover of the arts. But how much does why does it cost the arts so much money when technology is where the future is? Like, how many fucking dance studios, what the fuck can you put in this building that costs so fucking much, instead of putting it into, like, the careers of the future where our children actually have to be? That is the main thing that pisses me off about this story. And of course, the count matters to me, and that's just ineffective big government. And they're paying their friends, and they're taking money from this pocket to put into that pocket, and then transfer to a third pocket. Like, all of those things, I know those are the things that piss you off the most. But I'm like, not even if you're going to do it, but if you're going to do the fucking shit, at least do it to have a positive income, so nobody looks at you, a positive outcome, so nobody looks at you like a fucking bum. You know, like, at least be like, okay, look, the school did run over, but the new STEM project that we put in will be open on the weekends to allow neighborhood kids to come there and access the technology outside of school hours. So we did it with this purpose in mind, and that's why it ran over. Even if that's a bullshit lie, even if it's a lie and you did it to take the fucking money, at least then the kids will get some fucking benefit out of this shit for not even just the kids, but the next generation and what could be born if such a place existed.
They're all just blaming each other.
My Wale come from D.C. I understand. It's other people too, but I'll use Wale specifically because I love him. But he comes from D.C. and they have, you know, what came out with Go-Go and how DC runs that, and it's a genre in all of itself. A lot of the songs that are on top 40 list or whatever, I don't like those songs. But when DC gets its hands on it and they transform it into Go-Go, like Pieces of Me by I don't even know who sung the song. Who was the the white girl that sung it? I don't even know. But in Go-Go form, oh my gosh, it is one of my favorite fucking songs.
I did not know you were a Go-Go fan.
Oh, I get into it. I'm not the type to go to the Go-Go now. I did that when I first moved to DC, and I went to one, and I was like, hey, you have to be born and bred into that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's meant for newcomers.
Yeah, I think I have to agree on that.
That's not made for newcomers. But the music itself, like, once DC gets his hands on it, I like what they do with the Go-Go, so I don't take away from the arts. I'm a lover of the arts. But if you're going to be putting $170 million into one fucking school, then it should be a school of the future. And I don't think that is performing arts. I think it's more in the STEM fields. Let's jump to the next one.
So, Sonnie, no matter how people feel about him, Donald J. Trump is still the Republican nominee, whether Glenn Beck or Eric Erickson or whomever feels about him. By the way, the Washington Post Dana Milbank said he'd eat the paper his column was printed on if he became the nominee. Sounds tasty.
One of the other girls actually stuck her fist in her mouth. That was her thing. She was like, Donald Trump will not become president, and if he does, I'll eat my own fist. So she's like, it's like a clip of her on the web now where she had to actually stick her fist in her mouth. And I'm like, what? Why didn't it register to you what social media was going to do with that image?
Oh, boy.
It didn't register to you that wasn't going to, you being able to open your mouth and stick your fist into it. You didn't think that social media was going to have a little bit of fun with that. But okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
During a Trump rally this week in San Jose, rioters were outside breaking bottles on Trump supporters' heads, egging them, locking them inside the rally venue so they couldn't come outside. And these are people attacking Trump supporters. Yet Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama all blame Trump for this. It's like getting shot in the face and then apologizing for it. Remember that? Even Justin Bieber didn't blame anyone for making him egg his neighbor's house. That's sad that Justin Bieber has more sense than our elected officials do. Sonnie, what the hell is going on in California, and why are people acting like this is excusable behavior?
This is what happens in progressive areas. But I'll say this to people because I don't want to argue about it. I want just the simplicity of not even which side is right or which side is wrong. Just an honest look at the situation, okay? Now, there were 250 police officers, okay? 250 police officers. There were 400 protesters, okay? There were 4,000 to 5,000 people who came there to see Trump. And the 250 officers could not control the 400. They didn't have a problem with the 4,000. Okay? They didn't have to control the 4,000. The 250 officers could not control the 400. Now, Americans, I don't care if you black, you white, you Hispanic. Like I said, I don't give a fuck if you are green alien. Which world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in the world where 4,000 people can assemble peacefully without shit happening? Or do you want to live in a world where 250 armed police officers cannot control 400 people? Fuck what side is right. Fuck what side is wrong. Fuck where whoever stands. What civilization do you want to live in? Because they walk around thinking that it's not going to affect them. It's not going to affect you because it hasn't come to your shit yet. While you're ignoring it and letting it fester, all that means is one day it's going to end up in your fucking neighborhood. Which one do you want in your neighborhood? Stop acting like this is a matter of choosing a politician or choosing left or right or choosing Democrat or Republican. No, this is about what kind of society you want and what kind of people you want in that society. You can have the 4,000 that can assemble peacefully, or you can have the 400 that want to act like niggas. And I say nigga colorblind because I don't think it represents a color. I think it represents a personality trait. And every single one of them people in California had it.
There have been ads out willing to pay people to go and be violent at these events.
And those are the people that I think you hear that are burning the flag. Those are the people that do the stuff like that. But the thing is, I will point that out, that I think that they exist in that group, the people are paid, but I think that those are the same people that did it in Ferguson. And those are the same people that did it in Baltimore. So while you're blaming the bulk of the protesters, which I don't want to do, you can protest Donald Trump, but when you're 400 people that cannot be controlled by 250 police officers, there is a fucking problem with that. I'm not against your right to protest. I am against the right that you need 250 cops to control your silly ass while you protest. Again, niggerish. Again, colorblind. I don't care what color it comes in. I don't want this shit in my neighborhood. That has to be the simplicity of where we start this conversation. How the fuck do we want to live? But when we see people honestly protesting, like I believe there were honest protesters in Ferguson. I believe that there were honest protesters in Baltimore. But I think that the assholes took control of the message. So if anything that these protesters, these Trump protesters need to learn is you will lose the support of the people when you give them images like that. So y'all better start policing y'all own motherfuckers and keep them paid protesters out of your ranks.
I agree with that. And look, did you see, I don't think it was that riot, but that there were other ones, or there was another one where the Bernie supporters were attacking each other. Like they were just beating people up and didn't even realize that they were just beating up people on their own side. I mean, so it's like severely misguided.
That's practice when they start fighting over their dogs and their cats. They just practicing. That's sparring rounds. Those are sparring rounds. That's all that is.
Ah, good. I see what you did there.
That's all they're in training so they can, hunt down animals when the time comes.
Yeah, they know what's going on. All right. So this is one of those topics that people say I live on the moon when it comes to discussing it. A Michigan high school made the news for having students joking about how they wanted to bring back slavery and send black people back to Africa. So, of course, Mr. Transracialism himself, Shaun King, did an article on it, listing every modern instance of racism he could find. Now, for my opinion, first of all, they said they wanted to reinstate slavery and send black people back to Africa. Which one is it? Secondly, they're children. It's not like they're going to do it. And the discussion is, what would they do if they would become president in 2040? First, you have to actually be elected. And now that the entire country knows how you feel about slavery, good luck with that. Sonnie, you have a child. What do you do if your daughter came home and she said her classmates wanted to send black people back to Africa? How does one handle that?
Look, you know how you could tell your daughter or your child you can dream about being president. I don't tell my daughter that because I would never want my daughter to be president.
Oh, why not?
Because, man, she sees black and white, right and wrong. There are no gray areas. Like, there is no shade for her. She is very, very morally strict. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't want to be under no kind of totalitarian, not even her. I got her this video game where she got to rule over a kingdom. And one of the actions that you could do is like kick the people. Like, so she runs around for like an hour just kicking people. And I'm like, I would never want you to be in charge of some shit because, in my opinion, that's how I feel on the subject.
I would like to know the name of that game just for personal research.
It was Kingdom for Kefling or something like that. This is how I feel about the Hispanics that were, or the protesters. I don't necessarily want to label them out by the ethnicity. Whoever the fuck they were out there shouting, "Make Mexico California again." I feel the same way about them as I feel about these white boys, as I feel about, say, a black person that says you should just give blacks 13 states and let us live in those 13 states under our own dominion and shit.
I've never even heard that one now. Okay.
Oh yes, it's like the homeland thing where we don't have to be shipped back to Africa. We should have a stake in America. So if they give us 13 states and all black people can move into those 13 states and govern ourselves. Like, I don't think that if you got control over me, you would treat me like a nigga. Like, get fucking real. I don't want anybody to have control over me. I don't understand these people. But anyway. So you have the one group that says, make Mexico California again. You have these little white kids that say, oh, we're going to bring back slavery and ship them back to Africa at the same time. And then you have this other group that says, hey, just give blacks 13 states and we'll separate and govern ourselves. All three of you are full of shit. And you're not worth the time talking about. And these are the distractions. This is like, okay, so you have Mexico on the brain, you have roots on the brain, and you know what I'm saying? You like, what the fuck is wrong with you people, and understanding that you live in the greatest country on the face of this motherfucking earth. Be happy to be a motherfucking American, and let that be enough. Like, let that fucking be enough. Go and find your spot and your lifeblood in the America that is so fucking great and so fucking full of opportunity. Go get lost in that shit. Why is it your thought process to separate? And like I said, I think it's because you don't want to compete. You want some shit given to you. Give us this. Give us this. No, bitches. All three of y'all will never get what it is the fuck you want somebody to give you. So every single one of y'all can kiss my ass. At the end of the day, I have to believe that we outnumber them. There are more of us than it is of them. And I'm talking about you can add them up. You can add up the Make Mexico California again. You can add up the black homeland. You can add up the send black people back to Africa. Add them all up into a group, and the rest of us outnumber them. And that's what we have to remember when they talk this bullshit, when they want to distract us. We have to look at each other and remember we outnumber them so we can go back to talking about the shit that's important.
Yeah, because you could read that article of Sean King's and, see these 15 instances.
I wouldn't read shit that bitch wrote. Don't you fucking dare.
That's why I didn't source his, but I actually stopped like a paragraph into it because I was thinking, I said, okay, let's be logical here. Again, children are not going to do that. And if you're so concerned about, this next generation of racists, etc., okay, so this is now news. A principal in Michigan has made national news for having students with a viral video talking about sending kids to Africa. Trust me, they will be dealt with because that is a horrible situation of leadership to be in. So that's the end of that.
You want me to tell you the second reason? Let me tell you the second reason this don't bother me?
Yeah.
Because them bitches would have never said it in a black person's face. The reason they said it was because they were amongst their white friends. If a nigga was sitting in their face, they wouldn't have cracked their mouth to say it. So I'm like, why should I get all up in arms over a punk ass that can only talk behind video? Like, why would I give you that? Why would I give you we gave them an entire segment and I feel bad for that. So let's go to the next one.
I have not shared this yet because I wanted to see what my followers felt about it, but I could totally see them saying, oh, but Vonnie, there's evidence of the racism there. And once again, you refuse to acknowledge it.
Let them get the nerve to say that shit in my face and I'll show you how I acknowledge it. Until then, I'm going to keep it moving because they can't stop me. They little white ass can't stop me. They white skin can't stop me. They have no white privilege over me. They are irrelevant. Like, oh God, how many times? I'm telling you, you're like going to make me pop a fucking blood vessel.
All right. So that Sonnie won't have an aneurysm. Late last night, we lost boxing legend Muhammad Ali at 74 years old. He was known as Sportsman of the Century by Sports Illustrated, Sports Personality of the Century by the BBC. The man, as Stacey Dash said about Prince, transcended race, something Roland Martin went on a tirade about this morning. There's nothing wrong with saying you've transcended race. He was a hero among all races. Not everyone quite gets that type of crossover appeal to everyone, but he did.
That don't mean he transcended race. He was a black man and he was proud to be one. It doesn't mean he transcended races because other races liked him and that he was appreciative of it. It doesn't mean he transcended his blackness. It just made him a great black man. What the fuck? Like, at the same time, it just made him a great black man. He didn't transcend race. He wasn't Little Kim bleaching his fucking skin. Like, stop. He was a proud black man up until the day he died. He was a proud father. He was a proud boxer. He was a proud activist. Like, stop. It's too much. It is. But here's my joint with this, and I will say this. I celebrate his death because he lived his life. You know what I'm saying? He died in old age. He died of natural causes. He died surrounded by his family. Like, all of us could only be so lucky that in the end, that's how we have it. And like, you see so many stars that die young. Just finding out Prince died from an overdose, which we kind of all guessed. But here's a man who lived the totality of his life until he just couldn't anymore. And that is something to be celebrated, and to have your family around you at the end, and to have a legacy that you leave, and to have your name remembered. That is a reason to be celebrated. And like, you don't mourn those people, you don't cry for those people, you celebrate those people. So I will celebrate Muhammad Ali. And like I said, I always do the Harlem Night joke when he said his mama called him Clay, I'ma call him Clay. But in all respect, that man lived his life as Muhammad Ali, and all respect given to him and to his family in his passing.
Rest in heaven. All right, so rapper Snoop Dogg called for a boycott of the remake of the movie Roots, saying it was disrespectful to play it on, of all days, Memorial Day, a celebratory day created by freed slaves being commemorated by beating us over the head yet again with slavery. Sonnie, I haven't watched Roots since junior high school, I think. Likely won't look at it again. Not quite my cup of tea, but I didn't see the new version. I get it. A lot was gone through to set us free, but there's more to our history than slavery. All Hollywood producers know, in my opinion, is how to put us in subservient roles.
No, because we have people like Tyler Perry. We have people like Ice Cube. Like, I won't let this be what this has not defined us. And even this is my joke.
I mean, that's my point as well, that we need to have more of those. That's what I want to see our message shaped as at the end of the day.
More of those. Exactly. And that's it. And let it go like that. And like, some of us are niggerish, so you gotta have niggerish characters. And some of us are good, so you're gonna have good characters. Like, stop playing. Here's my joint with this. And this is what conservatives do. And it nauseates me. So Snoop Dogg says this. Conservatives first think, well, who are you to talk? Who are you when you do X, Y, and Z and you do this? I say, he's a grown-ass man that don't ask you for shit. That's who he is. His fucking, how much he pay in taxes is probably what covers your mortgage deduction rate plus some.
Well, and how about whatever he's being accused of doing is likely what they're pushing to legalize? The libertarians, that is.
No, it's not even. That's not even the point. The point is, and what conservatives will never understand, is they keep looking for righteousness instead of looking for purpose. Now, in my personal character, I try to live righteously. But I don't expect everybody else to be like me. And that's what okay, well, who are you? Who are you? He is a fucking American. So what? He's not on your morality level. He is a fucking American. He still has his right to vote. He is a fucking multimillionaire. Why does his morality have to match yours for him to fucking matter? When will being an American that contributes to the system instead of taking from it, when will that be enough to have an opinion that matters?
It's that litmus test we were talking about.
I just do this whole joint with roots on the brain. And now I have to go to crabs in a motherfucking barrel. Like, either you live with roots on the brain or you live with crabs in a fucking barrel. If you don't walk just like I walk, then have you ever stopped to think that they just haven't got there yet? Or God is using them different? He got a purpose for them. His purpose for them don't look like your purpose. Like, can you ever just stop for one fucking minute and just say, oh, an American has an opinion? No. You got to put your judgmental motherfucking thumb on the subject. And they will never see that that's why their message fails. And they will never see that that's why their group keeps getting smaller. And they will never see that that's why people look at Donald Trump. They know that he's done some fucked up shit. And they know that he's said some fucked up shit. But they know that they've done some fucked up shit. They know that they've said some fucked up shit. All right, we'll be right back in just a few moments with more of me and JaVonni. It's time for capitalism, y'all. Pricing information is great and necessary, but there's more to car buying than just price. There's the actual buying experience. And to enjoy a better one, you have to go to a true car certified dealer. They're there to help you find the car you want, and they are what make True Car unique. With TrueCar, you can connect with a local certified dealer of your choosing so you can lock in guaranteed savings off MSRP and enjoy a better buying experience. TrueCar customers are more likely to enjoy a faster buying process when they connect with a TrueCar certified dealer. Over 2 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network, and there are over 11,000 TrueCar certified dealers nationwide. You will work directly with a TrueCar certified dealer contact, and TrueCar users save an average of $3,279 off MSRP. And using the TrueCar website or the TrueCar app, you can easily find the car that you want. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Did she say that? You bet she did. Once again, it's Sonnie Johnson.
Welcome back to Did She Say That, a Breitbart podcast on Podcast One. I am your host, Sonnie, and we're back with JaVonni. And then we're going to talk about capitalism. You know, this is our segment where we kind of delve into those things. The jobs report comes out this week, the same week, no matter that Barack Obama wants to go around the country and take credit for how he saved the economy. And the only thing good that came out of the jobs report is that we are up on part-time jobs. So I guess you can consider that a victory.
That's about all we've ever gone up on the whole time he's been president.
Right? I guess less work, more benefits is his motto. You know, in all of these things, I try to make sure I break everything down. Like, if I can explain these big complex issues to my 11-year-old, then I think that I am successful. So that's what we try to do on this show. All you smart pants, I could take you on in another forum and format. But for this purpose, is to try to reach the people who really don't pay attention and know all the verbiage of what's going on in the economy. Because you look at the news and they want to talk about the labor patient rate, or they'll say fancy things like it's a recession when your neighbor loses their job. It's a depression when you lose yours. And I wanted to get down to a basic question of this, JaVonni. What does this mean for the people who never had a job? So it's not a matter of whether your neighbor lost his or you lost yours. What about the people that never had one to begin with?
Basically, I want to say for the people who have never worked as a conservative, explaining that, I think the only way we're going to win these people over and possibly get them back to work, for us, we have to get some skin in the game, like to actually go in the community and create some of these jobs.
Let me tell you what I mean by this, right? I have some family that maybe aren't legit. Can I put it that way? So around 2011, 2012, I went home and one of my cousins was complaining because he was like, even the crackheads don't have money. Like the recession was hitting the drug dealers. And they put the two together. Like the recession is taking money out of the hands of the crackhead, and therefore the crackhead cannot buy my product. And if the recession is hurting me as a drug dealer. This is not to glorify drug dealing. What I'm trying to say is they already have a basic knowledge of what this shit means. We're just not talking about it in the terms that they can understand.
The issue that I have always generally worked around the White House and in that area downtown. And I had the culture shock maybe about 5 years ago of going and working on the other side of town, just about 2 years. And I had friends who ran for office, and so I spent some time around then. But I don't feel like there's going to be a winning message during a 10-minute conversation where the person says, "Oh, you've got me. What must I do to be a conservative?" Like the altar call.
True that. But the 5-second phrase that did it is, "I'm rich. I'm very, 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 very rich. And I'm going to make America rich." That was the 5-second phrase that did exactly what you just now said.
I was going to say, have you started watching Nene Leakes? Because, I'll just say that, again, the way that I got in, as I said, I'd never spent time in these communities, but when I was supporting those who were running for office there, number one, I actually went and showed up in places, and I kind of immerse myself amongst these people.
You gotta give me a story about that, because I'm 100% positive that didn't just go over smoothly.
I mean, but my thing is that I went to to these communities, and I sat inside of meetings, and I spoke to people about what was going on before I even mentioned that I was a conservative. And I was actually still feeling myself out at the time in my defense. But you don't just go into a community and say, hey, look at all the things that Barack Obama is doing to you. Good luck with that. And I hope you have like an Uber on standby or something for when that goes bad.
Because you have to chase it out. And that's one thing we're doing. Like, we want to stick on capitalism and stay in this arena, because we are experiencing right now, and I've said this numerous times, Donald Trump's message of Make America Great is cool. But for a percentage of the American public, you're going to have to make America great for the first time. And they see the money swirling around America. They see the prosperity that is here in this country. They just want a part of it. And every time we, as the champions of this message, why is it like damn near impossible for us to humble ourselves and take them this message that they've already embraced? They just haven't connected it with us yet.
And I'll add this, for those of us who have made it and those who are doing well, then those are the ones who should go into the community, share their story and offer to help do the same with others, and to help them get from point A to point B to become successful themselves.
But we can't do that, right? Because when we send conservatives into these communities, especially, we will send.
Someone came out of the community that was successful. I mean, or at least.
No. Even so, take a purebred, white bread conservative that is successful, that has money, messages. You send that person into a black community and say, look, this isn't about the money that I've made. It's about how me and you can make money together.
If it's a black community, then send a black culture person there.
No, I would say you can send a black culture person to explain the nooks and crannies, because like a person like me, I'll explain it to you in a way that you can understand. I'll try to break it down and make it as simple as I can for you to understand. But that doesn't negate what a person with Donald Trump's real estate knowledge. I don't have that knowledge. And if you as a white man have that knowledge, don't be afraid to take that knowledge and to put into a place where people will be desperate to get it. Like to teach some of these kids how to flip real estate in some of the most dilapidated areas across this country. What the hell would be better than that?
Real estate is something that, hey, there's a bit of it in there for everyone, down to construction jobs, which many do often pay well. And Donald Trump, he has the experience. Like that's just the whole allure that I like. He represents capitalism. He knows how to give people jobs in order for them to make money. He's put women in very high-paying positions.
The reason that I wanted to talk about Trump's real estate is because, like, I got into this argument with a conservative, right? And they were like, well, if blacks stopped A, B, C, and D, I'm not going to even state what he said, because trust and believe he caught an earful about those things once he mentioned it. But he's like, if they just stopped all of these things, then like magically the world would cure itself. And I simply asked him, I was like, ownership. I was like, they can stop all of this and still not have any ownership, still not have any power, still not have any control, and it does not change the situation. It would just deteriorate back to what it is now, because you're not fixing what the initial problem was.
If you're concerned about the demographic, then, and you want to be involved, then, I mean, what is it that you're going to do about it instead of browbeating these people over the head? I mean, that's why I said about going actually in the community to do something. I'm not saying that you have to give Al Sharpton speeches. Condoleezza Rice mentioned about getting into the black community through people like Jesse Jackson and whatnot. I disagree.
Exactly.
They don't have the golden key to black people.
That pisses me off because like a Republican group will give money. They will give money to Urban League, or they will give money to Push, to like, that is the way for Republicans and conservatives to get into the black community, by investing in the groups that are already there. But these are the groups that caused all of these damn problems. These are the groups that do not like capitalism. If you drill down to the core of what they are collective society groups. And you are taking Republican conservative money and giving it to them like you're paying them fucking homage.
Because that's what they're good at, throwing. It's the same thing Trump is against. That's what they're good at. It's throwing money around. The same way that they made inroads in those communities, conservatives can do the same. You just have to actually take the time and effort to go there. Like I said, at this particular point, at least I am respected in the sense that, hey, if anything, at first they know that JaVonni is around, and he's not going to come here saying stupid stuff because he's going to see us again.
No, that's not why you don't say stupid stuff. I think you don't say stupid stuff because you're an intelligent individual.
Of course. That's just the issue that I have with the message argument about what is the golden thing to be said. Like, if you just come into my community and you've never been here and you're saying all of this stuff, I'm probably not going to listen to you, even if you do have a decent message. Maybe after I see you for 3 or 4 times, it'll make a difference, Even
if you come in as a conservative, I feel the same way. You can be a conservative Republican. You can come into my community and I'm still going to look at you suspect. Like, until you tell me what your intentions are. And like I said, this goes back to Paul Ryan. And Paul Ryan having this awesome economic plan, this awesome free market capitalism plan that needs to be in the black community. And it doesn't get there. It never reaches there. And I'm like, you don't have the backbone to put it there. But you want to keep talking about the job numbers. You want to keep talking about the job numbers. You want to beat Obama over the head with the job numbers. But you can't get your economic message into the people that need it the most. And you don't understand that is your problem to solve.
And Sonnie, I'll say this. I supported a black conservative. He was a new Republican who went into communities in D.C. that no one had ever had. In the end, I want to say that as a candidate, probably wasn't that great. However, he wasn't being supported by, be it the local party or just others in general. And I'm like, how difficult is a cab 7 miles across town going to cost? It's really not going to be a lot to people who are generally millionaires. Like, we couldn't get, certain party members to come and support. And just the part that I appreciated was that step one, show up. That's what he did. And people joined the party just simply based on the fact that he was there and he was a respected member of the community. If you have an issue with what he's saying, then you can work with them on massaging, the message and kind of giving them some different points and perspectives. But, you have to go there and you have to be consistent in being there. So, like I said, it's just I tend to have a little trouble with what exactly is that golden message. Because you could have that message and say it to me, and I'm going to wonder in my head, what is their end goal? Like, what is your purpose for being here? Are you trying to buy up the neighborhood? I don't know. Like, that was the current national chairwoman, committee woman, the DC Republican Party. I met her on a side of town that I just the whole time scratched my head. I said, this is fascinating. What is this woman doing over here where folks have been shot dead right outside of this restaurant in the middle of the day? But she was around, X number of times, and she's shown an interest. And so I began to respect her for doing that.
Oh, so that means the lesson of the day is you actually have to show up?
Yeah. I mean, you do need to show up and you need to be consistent. Maybe not that simple, but I mean, that's
at least a place to start.
Yeah. We're not starting there.
I'm only doing this because, you know, I have like 50 million things that I could say right now, but we're running up on that little deadline thing called a clock. I'm telling you, JaVonni, time is never enough with us, dude. We just never have enough, but that is the beauty of Did She Say That? We'll be back next week. This is a Breitbart podcast on Podcast One. I am your host, Sonnie Johnson. You can find me on social media at SONNIE Johnson. If you put in a Y, you will not find me. Don't be an asshole. JaVonni, tell them where they can find you.
I am on Twitter, Vonnie Media Mogul, VONNI, and Facebook, JaVonni Brustow.
And anything JaVonni posts on his social media has nothing to do with me.
Good disclaimer.
Very, very good disclaimer. Until next week, people, have a nice one.
Then I'm American made. I got American parts. I got American faith in America's heart. Go on, raise the flag. I got stars in my eyes. I'm in love with her, and I won't apologize.
Stay tuned for 60-second AP News headlines.
AP Update. I'm Diane Kepley. President Obama sits down this morning with presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Our Mark Smith has more on the meeting.
Aides insist the president isn't doing any arm twisting today and say Sanders, with his surprising and passionate campaign, has earned the right to exit the race on his own terms. Still, it's no secret Obama and other top Democrats want the sniping and squabbling to stop and Sanders to rally his backers behind Clinton.
As for Clinton, she tells PBS she and Bernie Sanders are already working together.
We are talking. We will be having an opportunity to discuss in greater detail in the days ahead how we can best work together.
In a taping for The Tonight Show, the president says he thinks the campaign has made Hillary Clinton a stronger candidate.
I thought that Bernie Sanders brought enormous energy and new ideas, and he pushed the party and challenged them. I thought it made Hillary